Am I going to do this? Am I really going to do this? Am I really going to do this? Am I going to get canceled for this? I might. Do I do this? Do I put myself through this pain? Yeah. Yeah, I think I need to. And I just want you all to know that I'm doing it for you. Okay? I'm doing it for you. Bestie, I'm doing it for you. Okay? I'm going to put myself through the fiery trenches of reading. Miss Fourth fucking Wing. Okay, so per the intro, I have decided I'm going to finally read Miss fucking Fourth Wing, okay? Y'all haven't convinced me. No one has convinced me. I had to convince myself, okay? My husband actually has been on the front lines for you Fourth Wingers, for you Fourth Wing babies, just trying real hard, okay? He has been trying for you. Going to battle for you. All of my no's, all of my no, I don't want sex tonight because you want me to read Fourth Wing. He's doing it for you, okay? Did he whittle me down? I don't know. Maybe it's just because I am mentally fucking unstable right now that I have decided to read Miss fucking Fourth Wing. I want you to know my husband's already read it. He's already read it. He has not read Miss Iron Flame that is sitting right here on my shelf. I want you to know that this is my shelf. He's got a shelf across the hall of his books, okay? Somehow Iron Flame and Fourth Wing are on my shelf. So I'm going to read Miss fucking Fourth Wing, okay? The internet, if you don't know what Fourth Wing is, let me just fucking explain it to you. This is the book that completely broke the internet last year. And when I say broke, I mean that there is a woman that I work with, okay, has probably never read a book in her life. And her daughter read Fourth Wing and told her about it. And she came to me and was like, Julia, have you heard of that? She's like, I know you like to read. Have you heard of that book? What's it called? My daughter just finished it and she loved it. It's called Fourth Wing. And I looked at her and I was like, Pam, what the fuck did you just say? She's like, yeah, it was Fourth Wing. It's about dragons. It's about a girl in Dragon Academy. This woman is like old enough to be my mother. Has probably never read a book in her life. And if she does, Pam, I love you. She probably reads like the books, like the Danielle Steele books or the Nora Roberts or like just those books, okay? Pam's a good old little Christian lady, okay? She knew what Fourth Wing was, okay? And she asked me if I had read it. So when I tell you that this book took the world by storm, I'm not exaggerating. And I have said this 1,000 times and I will say it 1,000 more. I am not a hype girly, okay? I don't get on the hype train. I am not part of the bandwagon, whatever the fuck that means. I don't do that shit. But here I am, just throwing it all to the wind. I'm just about to throw the book to the wind. I'm throwing it all to the wind for y'all because I am mentally unwell and I need something to read. I've been in a slump for like 3 days, and that is 3 days too long. So I'm going to read Fourth Wing. I also want to point out, yes, I do have the special holiday edition of this book. Because why? Because my husband saw it in the bookstore and said we needed to have this. What he really meant was we need to have 2 copies, okay, so we can buddy read it together. That's what he wanted, okay? And then he so sneakily put these books on my shelf. So I'm going to read Miss Fourth Wing, and I'm going to hope and pray to the goddess that I don't either become more mentally unstable or lose, God forbid, brain cells reading this book. Because the reviews, honey, oh, the reviews. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it for y'all because I need something to read, and maybe this will be a 5-star. I have serious doubts, but maybe it'll be good. I'm already annoyed. Okay, so we're like preparing Violet, the main character, for battle, basically, and we're talking about making smaller things much, much bigger in regards to her sister's men, and then we just randomly start talking about the pigment of her eyes and her hair. What is happening right now? What? Okay, let's talk first impressions, because every book deserves first impressions and every book deserves its chance, but oh my god, what have I done? So I just got to chapter 2, and I'm not having a bad time, but I'm not having a good time. Not yet. Let's be real honest with each other. I don't know anything really about this book except that it involves Violet Sorrengail, Xaden Riorson, and that there's dragons. I know that there is a very questionable consent sex scene in this book. And I know, no, actually, that's really it. That's actually all I really know. That there's kind of a questionable consent scene in this book. There is Violet, who is a disabled protagonist, and then there's Xaden, and then this book has dragons. And that there's something interesting about Violet and her dragon, and then like another dragon or something, and that her dragon and Xaden's are like connected or something. So there are some things that I know just based off of like the reviews that I've seen and the videos that I've watched, like shitting on this book. Other than that, I know nothing about this book. I don't know the plot. I don't know what happens. That's just the only stuff I know. So like just finishing chapter 1, we meet, you know, Xaden, and like obviously he's gonna be the love interest and all this nonsense. So I've heard a lot about this book in regards to the marketing aspect of this, so I just want to just get this out of the way before we continue with this, because it probably is going to affect my review, but I'm gonna try to not let it affect my review, because I want to give it its fair shot, basically. I don't know why I want to give it its fair shot, because whoo baby. The marketing of this book, A Fourth Wing, was so Rebecca Yarros wrote this as YA. Violet is 20 years old, which would make this book technically new adult, but it sounds like that Rebecca Yarros wrote this as a YA novel. It was supposed to be YA. There was not going to be any like smut or anything cray-cray in here. It was just going to be your typical like high school, almost college level, you know, story, protagonist, story, age, whatever. Editing Julia here, popping in just to say that I think I was grossly incorrect, because I was under the impression that this book was marketed as YA originally. And when I went to go fact check myself, because I couldn't remember where I heard that information, I was actually wrong. Well, that never happens. So this book originally was marketed as an adult fantasy novel, if you can believe that. And then Red Tower slyly, somehow, made up a genre that doesn't exist and put this into new adult to encompass characters that are freshly 18 to 20 years old, because that somehow is not still young adult. What? So originally this was adult, and then it was new adult. But if you read this book or have read this book, if you've read this book, you know that it literally reads YA. If you've not read this book, just know that the characters all act like they are 13 to 16 years old. And I would argue Xaden is probably the only one that acts his age in this book. So, do with that what you will. The thing is, you can tell, okay, this book reads very YA just in the first chapter alone. Like, I can tell. Like, Violet reads like she's 16 years old. She does not read like she's 20 at all. And so there are moments in here that I'm sitting here and I'm like, oh my God, the cringe that I'm having, because she reads like she's 16 years old, and she reads like a 16-year-old with a crush on an older boy. They're sitting and talking and having like a little sister moment, and she's like doing her hair or whatever. And then Mira all of a sudden starts talking to her about like how she knew a guy who could make things like magically make certain things smaller and then make certain things much, much bigger. You know what I'm saying? Mira goes, oh, don't fraternize with older students. Like only, you should want to get laid. Totally, it's okay to get laid and you should want to, because like God only knows like what every day will bring. Like you could die. But don't fraternize with older boys. Only fraternize with people in your year. And Violet's like, oh, so I can fuck whoever I want as long as it's within my year. And she's like, yeah.
Whole family's disgusting.
What the fuck brought this on? Like, what kind of conversation is this? Rebecca Yarros, what is happening here? This should have been a YA novel, definitely. So I'm going to try to not shit on that aspect so much. I'm going to try to read this book as YA. And I don't know if I'm going to succeed because I know that there's smut in this book, but I'm going to read this book and rate it as though it's YA. And I'm going to do my damnedest to give it then grace when we get to the more like explicit scenes. Yeah, first impressions of the book, I'm not like super impressed. I'm honestly a little confused about some stuff. I'm sure it'll get explained, but like there's not a lot of info dumping necessarily, to be honest. Like I don't feel like overwhelmed, but I do feel like I don't know what the fuck is going on and what anything is. But I definitely know that there's magic that can make things bigger. Whatever good that's gonna do me, I guess. So, there you go. Hello. Do we like this camera angle? I'm not sure yet because I can't see if we like this camera angle because my iPhone is facing away from me. But we're gonna go with it. Today is Monday and I am really trying very hard to get more organized when it comes to my weekly reading vlogs, because I haven't really done a weekly reading vlog yet. I've just done like specific reading vlogs, which I like doing. I like doing specific reading vlogs, but I also just like vlogging. I just like talking to you. Okay, I just like talking. I just like talking is really what it is. I need to clean a little bit and I decided that I'm going to read more of Fourth Wing. I got to chapter 4 last night. Not having a bad time, not having really a great time yet. It is picking up a little bit. I am kind of interested in the world. Specifically, I'm interested in the dragons and how they work because we just got introduced to them and they seem like scary. They seem like scary because like when I went into this book, I was like, oh my god, it's just gonna be like dragons. It's gonna be like real cute and blah, blah, blah. No, these like dragons seem like they will eat your face. So I'm gonna keep reading that, but I'm probably gonna listen to it on audiobook. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. We're basically working on our day off, cleaning and reading. Okay, that's the tea in the shade. So I will catch up with you guys when I am done with my chores.
I've been lying here for too long. I don't know what else to do. I wanna get away from every little thing just to try to make it through. I've been thinking about my options, every detail in my head, but it doesn't really matter, nothing matters, so I cry instead. I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath. I've been trying everything I can, but I ain't got nothing left. I've been staring at the ceiling, I've been staying up all night. Everything I ever worked for vanished in the blink of an eye. I've been asking every question, 'cause I haven't got a clue. Why's it gotta be me? What the hell am I supposed to do? I've been running circles, trying to catch my breath.
Okay, y'all, today has been an absolute wild fucking ride, so I'm gonna try not to bore you with it all, but basically, it's a Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, and Tuesdays are normally crazy in my work week, but today is, who's she taking the cake? So, updates. I have updates for you. The first is, if you can hear my washer in the background, you shouldn't be able to, but if you can, it's because she's new and she's cool, which is why I'm home early from work today. I came home early from work because I needed a new washer and she just got delivered. So yes, but that's not the update you're here for. The update you're here for is I have read more of Fourth Wing. Yes, I spent $15 to get it on my iPad, or on my Kindle iPad, whatever I should say. And yeah, I did the damn thing because I wanted to be able to listen to it at my desk at work today. And for me to be able to listen to an audiobook, I have found number one, either need to have headphones in, or if I'm like sitting at my desk, I have to have it playing with like being synced to my Kindle so I can like look up and read what's happening, because I'm not like deaf or anything, but if I'm not fully paying attention or if I'm not hearing what's being said, I'm gonna miss shit. So it's just easier for me to be able to look up and see what's being said if I'm like, huh? You know what I'm saying? It's like subtitles. It's literally like subtitles, but book version. Anyway, so I have read a lot more of Fourth Wing. I think I'm on chapter 9 or 10. And I have a lot of thoughts. You know what? Actually, let me grab my notes. Hold on. Okay, so notes for little Miss Fourth Wing here. So, I'm on chapter 10 and I have a lot of thoughts. So I'm not, again, I keep saying this, but I'm not having a bad time. I'm starting to have a little bit of a good time, which is so funny to say because I actually thought that I would like hate this book, but I'm not hating it. I'm not like loving it. It's not like the best book ever, but I am having like a good time. It's not like terrible. Definitely a little confused about the world. And I've kind of like caught up on some of like the things that I was confused on earlier, but I'm still a little lost. And I don't know if it's like I'm lost because I just wasn't really paying attention, or if I'm lost because this really doesn't make any sense. College, this school that Violet is in, is basically, it is a war college. It literally is a conscription into the war. Like, you have no choice in life but to join this school. And at least in this area, if I'm understanding correctly. So you have like no choice but to be a part of this. You're either a scribe, a healer, a mender, or a writer. There has been a 400-year long war between Navarre and Palerme. Is that how you pronounce it? And Palerme is, they ride griffins. They're basically like another country, I guess, that they're griffin riders, and They are attacking Navarre because they don't want to trade with them. Like, they've been trying to set up trade agreements for a very long time, and they will not trade because there's something that Navarre has that they want, and instead of like saying, hey, let's trade this, they're just going to come and take it. Because this war has been going on for so long, they have no choice but to basically, it's like open season, open conscription of like their people. I don't know if it's everyone or if it's like a select few, but basically like there's conscripts into the scribes, there's conscripts into the healers, there's conscripts into the infantry, but you can't actually conscript to be a rider. You have to volunteer because the rider quadrant is such a hardcore, like you will die, like only 15% of people make it to the end. So they don't conscript. You have to actually volunteer, because if you volunteer, then you are like put to the test and there's like no real guarantee that you'll even make it anyway, but at least like they had a volunteer. So the first thing that's very interesting is that Violet's mom does not like allow her to be a scribe, and that's all she wants to do. So Violet has been volunteered by her mom because she says that no daughter of hers is going to be a scribe. But Violet is 20 years old. And it is stated very clearly, like throughout this book, Dane specifically is like, I want you to go, like, I want to protect you, let me save you, like, I want you to be a scribe because I don't want you to get hurt. And like, he has gone behind her back and like made it so like she can go into the scribes without her mom knowing, which we'll get to that. And basically like, he is trying to protect her, and like, it is stated very clearly that she could go be a scribe. Like, no one is stopping her. The only one stopping her right now is just herself because she's made it this far. And it's kind of like, Violet, you could be a scribe. Like, what the hell are you doing? And it's almost very weird because like, what is stopping her from being a scribe? Her mom saying so? Like, her mom can't make her do anything. Like, she is old enough to make this decision and she did not volunteer. So I'm not understanding why Violet is not doing this. Unless I'm missing something, like someone let me know, but like, I'm not understanding why Violet is not allowed to be a scribe when she is of age to make her own decisions. So then there's the people that are part of like the resistance or the marked ones or whatever, which the marked ones, they basically are children of people who committed treason against like this country. And the children had to watch their parents be murdered for treason. And then they got marked by Dragonfire as like what they are, which is like children of treasonous people. And then they got conscripted into the college.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I think I said this earlier, but I don't understand that. Why would you take rebel children who literally probably do not want to work for you and do not want to be a part of this and mold them and teach them your fighting like strategies and your war tactics when they could use it against you? It is explicitly said that 3 or more of the rebels, of the marked ones, are not allowed in groups because it's an act of treason, because they don't trust them. Like, the country doesn't trust them as a whole to be in groups of 3 or more because they could be scheming against the country. So why put them in a war college where they could scheme and get information against the country? Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, and how is it that there will never be a time that 3 or more of them are not together, especially in a place like this? Like, they can't gather without, like, I guess other people, other like Navarans being involved, because these people they're not Navarans. They're like, oh, I forget what the country is. So you can really tell that fucking Rebecca Yarros really tried to make this the Hunger Games, okay? But she made this the Hunger Games in the worst way possible. This war college, okay? When you are in, we're just gonna talk about the Rider Quadrant because I don't really know about the other ones, but I don't think that they're killing each other, okay? The Rider Quadrant. It is said explicitly that from the moment you walk across the parapet, even before you get across the parapet, your life is fucking forfeit and in danger. There's only a certain percentage of like candidates who make it across the parapet anyway to then become cadets. And then there are only a certain amount of cadets that make it to graduation day because they will die. And it's not that they'll die because of the trials that they go through. No. They can die from other cadets killing them. on purpose. Like, not like on accident, not with sparring or whatever, on purpose. This is where I take issue with this and where this doesn't make a lot of sense. You cannot conscript people into the Rider Quadrant, but you can volunteer. You're telling me that because of the fact is you have to conscript people anyway into this because like you need fighters for the army. That you're telling me that you're allowing these people to kill each other to prove that they, like, the strongest will make it through. Because here's the thing. I guess the dragons will not bond with the people unless they find them to be like exceptionally like strong, honorable, you know, whatever, like exceptionally good, as exceptional as they are, or, you know, however close they can get. So they train them, but like cadets are allowed to kill each other, and that somehow proves to the dragons that they're worthy of being bonded.
That's a red flag.
That doesn't make a lot of sense. Instead of teaching these kids how to fight, because they are still like kids, instead of teaching these people like how to fight, you're letting them kill each other without knowing what their strengths are. Violet, again, she is a disabled protagonist. She, I think, has like Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, I'm pretty sure. She has like very brittle bones. Like this girl, like you could sneeze on her, okay, and she's gonna snap a rib, okay? And like that is a very big downfall for her, and she's having to like fight these people in hand-to-hand combat, but she doesn't really know what she's doing. And so the way that she is able to get ahead in these trials that she's having to go through is by poisoning their food. And she's poisoning their food, and so when they get up to the mat to fight her, like they're not up to their snuff to fight, and so she's able to beat them. But then, of fucking course, at the end of like chapter 9, Xaden comes up to bat and is like, yeah, I want to fight Violet.
No, she can't come to the phone right now.
Well, she sure as hell wasn't poisoning his effing food. Like, and so he fights her, but he actually like trains her, and he even says to her, like, listen, you're not going to be able to poison people on the field. You need to train and you need to practice. And you see like how inept she actually is at fighting and how like weak she is in this regard. And it's kind of like, yeah, Violet, you're smart, but you're really not that smart. And it's not helping that Dane is totally and completely like smothering her and not letting her be the best that she can and not helping her train. He's just trying to protect her and then getting all like boo-hooey when he can't protect her. And it's just like, yeah, you can't protect her. She's on her own with this. I don't know. I just don't understand the point of letting them kill each other, because here's the thing. There is this man named Jack Barlow who I hope to God dies a fiery death. He is literally the epitome of a psychotic, homicidal nut job. And I don't understand why. I don't know what it is about Jack that he has like it out for Violet, like from the get-go. He's just like, I'm gonna kill you, and like only her. Like he does kill another person, but it's like, it's said that it's because he wants to kill her so badly and can't yet, so he had to kill somebody else to take his anger out. And I'm like,
I don't think you have the facilities for that, big man.
You're letting this man join the army? That doesn't sound good, sis. That doesn't sound good. That doesn't sound good for you or for me. It doesn't sound good for anybody. So I'm not understanding the whole point of like the letting them kill each other when you haven't even seen what they're good at, what they're not good at. And like you want them to succeed and you need people for the army. And I guess like because the dragons sometimes will not bond with people that have gone through the entire like semester or like all the years of college they need to go to, all the terms, I guess. There's a boy in here, Sawyer, who he went through like all of the training and all of the terms, and he didn't get bonded. Like he's going through this again as a first year to go through all of this again because he didn't get bonded to a dragon. Yikes. You really see where Rebecca Yarros like just took a bunch of books and smashed them together into this book. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. That's like not necessarily a bad thing at all. But like I said, this is very much like Hunger Games. I'm getting some like Throne of Glass vibes too, especially with the poisoning, with Violet doing the poisoning stuff, because there was that section with Selena in the poison section of Throne of Glass. and then just like the people dying, and not because like they're being killed necessarily by other recruits, but they're dying because like they're stupid and they're like falling off cliffs and shit. Anyway, so but you really see that Xaden is just Rhysand. But he's not Fae. Xaden is just Rhysand because he has shadow powers. And again, this cements my whole thing of that this is like Shadow and Bone of fucking Xaden is the Darkling and Dane is Mal. And Violet is what's her name. I don't remember the protagonist, but anyway. Also, Violet really loves thinking about people's sex lives. And she really loves trying to hit their balls with knives, okay? She gets up one morning and her friend Rhiannon is not in her bed, and she's literally like, I'm glad somebody's getting some orgasms around here. And I'm like,
I heard that. I wish I didn't hear that, but I just heard that.
girl, what? Like, what if she just went to the bathroom? What if she's like at breakfast? Like, the fuck are you talking about? What do you mean? Just assuming that she's out getting orgasms. I mean, shit, okay. Work, I guess, but like, that's a weird ass thought to have when you're getting ready in the morning. And she and Dane have like the weirdest fucking conversation about each other's sex lives because like they're supposed to be romantically interested in each other, whatever. But I'm just like, why are we talking about this right now? Why are we talking about this right now? Violet literally just had her fucking shoulder dislocated with like the snap of a finger, and we're talking about our sex lives right now? Time and place? No? Okay. So I kind of left off with them on the obstacle course, and I'm going to probably continue reading. I just have a little bit of a headache because of the day that I've had. So I'm going to do some laundry in my new washer. And also, my first Illumicrate box was delivered. I'm so freaking excited. So I'm probably going to open that and film it. I'm gonna go because I've been yapping my gums for 20 minutes, and I'm gonna eat some food. I'm gonna take some medicine, and I'm gonna go open this damn box. Okay? Okay. Bye. Lord. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Oh Lord. Y'all, this book right here, this one, you see it? See this book? She's getting good. She's getting real good. You know what? We admit in this house when we're wrong. And when we're wrong, we're wrong. You know? We admit that. We admit that. Actually, I'm not even going to say that I'm wrong. Not yet. But I am going to say, this book is getting good. This book is getting fucking good. Couple reasons why. So, we are past the boring bits. There is still a matter of that I don't know what the plot is of this book. There was like a little bit there for a minute where I was like, oh, I see the plot. And then it disappeared. The book is still giving like Hunger Games, but in a way that's like, the whole point of the book is just Violet passing the first year, I guess. Like, I don't see this book taking us all the way to graduation. There's just no way. The moment that I decided that this book was getting good, the moment I decided was the moment that Xaden is like sitting next to Violet and they're like on the front, kind of like doing a tour of the front. She says something to him. I forget what she says, but he like says something to her in his mind or in her mind. And I was like, oh, like there's not only a mating bond, y'all, between their dragons. There is a mind bond between the two of them. And it is fucking insane. Oh my God. So apparently, because Scale and Taryn are both connected, that means that he can hear Xaden's thoughts. Xaden can hear Scale's thoughts when she wants her to. And then Xaden and Violet can talk to each other mind to mind. The only one who's like not included is Andarna. She cannot hear Xaden and Xaden cannot hear her. I squealed. The moment that happened, I fucking squealed. Fated mates and like mind bonds or like mating bonds and everything. I love that shit. I eat that shit up because it's just so like, there's just something about it of being able to talk to like your soulmate, platonic or otherwise, mind to mind, and just only have that connection between the two of you. Like actually, like, you know how most soulmates in real life, like you can tell that they're having like a conversation all of their own with just a look or a gesture. I have that with my husband sometimes and it is amazing. Like we're just on a different level and I love it. So when it's in books and it's like they can talk to each other mind to mind, I'm always like pitta-patta, pitta-patta, pitta-patta. I love that shit. I eat it up. Yeah. Oh, also Dane can fuck all the way off. Dane can fuck all the way off. All the way. All the way off. And what else? What else did I have? Oh yeah, she just did her signet power, which apparently is lightning. And that's where I stopped because I was actually at my desk like listening to this, and then I actually had to get some work done because I do actually need to like do my job that they pay me there to go to do. I got to that part, so I'm like, Dane can fuck off, Xaden is bae, and Jack. Oh Lord, Jack. That motherfucker got what was coming to him. He got what was coming to him. I am telling you. So yeah, also Violet's mom can also fuck all the way off. Good God almighty. Anyway, yeah, so that's where I'm at. I'm having a good time. I actually can say that I've been saying like, I'm not having a bad time, but I'm not having a good time. I'm gonna have a good time. I'm gonna have a good time. The scenes were getting a little bit more epic. I'm still not sure where the fuck this book is going and where the plot is going. You feel me? Anyway, so I'm going to eat some dinner and then I'm going to read some more because I probably could finish this book tonight. And I probably will finish this book tonight. And then Little Miss Iron Flame is sitting on my shelf and you bet your ass I'm going to pick it up as long as nothing stupid fucking happens in the last half of this book.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
But I am having a good time. I was trying to figure out what I was going to rate this book because normally about now I have a feeling of what I'm going to rate it. And I don't actually know. Like, do you ever get that feeling where you're just like, when you vibe with a book, because I rate based on vibes. I don't rate based on like, I really don't even rate based on writing. I don't really rate based on, I rate based on if the book made me emotionally damaged or not. And just how it made me feel. Like, this could still be this could end up being a 5-star book if like something like fucking crazy happens in this last like quarter of the book. I'm being dead serious. That is how I rate books. Because I rate books based on if they're going to live rent free in my head or not. And I'm not here to tell you right now, I have like 2-star books that live rent free in my head. Probably because they were 2-star, but there are moments from books that live rent free in my head and I didn't rate them 5 stars. So, I don't know. I was thinking like maybe a 3-star, maybe a 4, but there's something that's just like, I don't know what. I feel like the reason I don't know is because like my intuition's telling me like, no girl, you're going to end up rating this 5 stars because there's going to be something. There's going to be something, but we'll see. We'll see. So, I'm going to get back to that and I will see you if I finish the book. Bye. What are you doing? Are you broken? Are you broken? Hippo? Hera? Hera? Are you broken? Hera? Are you broken? Yes. The answer is yes. Y'all, the sheer thoughts that I have are astronomical. There is not a scale of nomical that can explain, put into words, describe the feelings I am feeling right now. I have finished fucking Miss Fourth Wing. I think Fourth Wing finished me. I think I said this about House of Flame and Shadow, actually, but that was in a good way. Was this in a good way? That remains to be seen. I have many thoughts. Many thoughts. So I'm gonna need you to buckle the fuck up, because I don't know if I'm gonna do a cohesive like outro review for this. Okay, so getting into this, what I'm going to say, just first and foremost, because it's the tip of my little freaking symbol-y monkey brain, is that this book was not bad. It also wasn't good. This book was not bad. This book was not the worst thing I've ever read. It is not the greatest thing I've ever read. It's probably up there with, like, I don't know, Trash TV, or even like Crescent City or ACOTAR, but then again, Crescent City, the first book, is probably the best thing I've ever read. It's not gonna win any like prizes for like Nobel Peace, or it's not gonna win any like literary awards. Like, it's not a lit fic, okay? It's a fantasy. It's like trash fantasy, okay? This book doesn't deserve the hate that it gets, but it also does not deserve the hype that it gets. It is a very mediocre book. Like, I'm gonna be very honest with you. This book is very mediocre. But somehow, it has moments that grip you like a vise, and just, you are holding on. You're not even holding on. You're in free fall, and it is holding on to you for dear fucking life. Like, you're gonna love me. And you're like, no, you toxic bitch. I don't want to love you. This book has ruined me for any other dragony books. Maybe not. What it is a story of a girl who is disabled and against all odds is able to work around her disability, not past it because it's still there, work around her disability with the tools that she is given to become a writer, a dragon rider, when being a dragon rider is literally a death sentence. Like, there's like no retirement, there's no pension, there's no like vacation. This is your life. This girl goes on a journey of basically of self-discovery. She also goes on a journey of love, first love. She goes on a journey of betrayal. She goes on a journey figuring out that the world is a lot bigger than herself and the people in it, and that the pawns in play are just that, they're pawns. The beginning of this book had me very confused with the world building. I'm still not completely solid on what certain pieces of the world were. I'm still not really certain on like the squads and the point of some of the things that were in this book. I've said that a million times, but I will say that this book is going, for some people, to leave a lasting impression. This book has left a lasting impression on me. Whether that's good or bad remains to be seen. But this book will leave a lasting impression on you, whether you like it or you don't. A lot of people, I mean, the whole world, is either in one of two camps. They're in the camp that is hyping this book the fuck up like it's the best milk they've ever sipped, or they are like burning this book to the ground, Rebecca Yarros and her career in the dumpster. Like, they are just like, fuck Fourth Wing. And then there is like the 0.1% of us that are just in the middle camp, because we're like, like, it was fine. It was not bad. It was not good. You know, the whole romance with Xaden and Violet, at the end of the day, it felt kind of rushed. No, rush isn't the right word. It almost felt misplaced, because it is definitely enemies to lovers. But here's the thing. Xaden never really did anything horrible to Violet, like at all. He didn't try to hurt her at any point. He didn't really try to kill her like he said he was going to or wanted to. And that kind of gets explained later, I guess. But this is not really enemies to lovers. It's just more like rivals to lovers, honestly. But they're not even really rivals, because at the end of the day, like, Violet becoming a better writer betters Xaden as the wing leader, and like, you know, just going out in the world. Like, he doesn't care about her, not really. I don't know. So when the whole like professing of love came out, I was just kind of like, really? Like, and this is definitely a book where she fell first. or at least she said it first. But I think the real thing of this is that I never felt like Violet was in danger from Xaden. I never got like, you want to talk about danger? Let's talk about some other books where it's like, no, danger, Will Robinson, like this is a problem. I never really got that vibe. I just got the vibe that we were told that he was a bad guy, but honestly, he's not a bad guy. And everyone's like, oh, like Shadow Daddy, you know, I've seen like that all over the place. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, Shadow Daddy, he's definitely a Shadow Daddy, but he's not like a soulless Shadow Daddy. He's not like a golden retriever, even a marshmallow. He's not even really a cinnamon roll. He's just like, I don't know. He's definitely like a block of ice. He's definitely a block of ice. But there is a part of him that is good for Violet, and then there's a part of him that's like bad for Violet. Their chemistry is just weird to me. And there is a part of me that's like, is their chemistry even real because of the fact that their dragons are mated together? To kind of round out this general review of the book, before I get into some of these specifics that I have that I'm like, what the fuck? If you like Sarah J. Maas, if you like ACOTAR, Crescent City, Throne of Glass, if you like Hunger Games, if you like, which I mean, the audacity to even really compare this to Hunger Games, like some people culturally are going to come for me in the comments. They're going to be like, how dare you compare that modern classic to this fantasy trash? What I mean is, if you like elements of the Hunger Games with like the games themselves and the rivalry and whatever, and the fighting, the killing, whatever, if you like stuff like that, if you like even Serpent and the Wings of Night, the Crowns of Nyaxia series, at the end of this book, I was getting real heavy Crowns of Nyaxia from this book. If you like fucking Harry Potter, this book, pick it up. If you like dragons, if you've read like, which is so funny, if you've read like the Game of Thrones series or the House of Dragon series, you know, which George R.R. Martin is really just like probably sitting in his throne, just laughing at all of us little girls that like love these books where like no one really dies. But then again, people did die. All of this to say, if you love those books, if you love those authors, pick up this book. You got nothing to lose. Pick up this book. You'll probably fall in love with Violet and Xaden. You'll probably fall in love with the world. You'll fall in love with the dragons. For the dragons took me by surprise for a minute. Like Taryn and Violet's relationship was weird for a minute. And then I was like, oh, damn, okay, this is all right. So pick it up. You have nothing to lose. Honestly, like the hype is kind of over. So if you're kind of like not a hype man like I am, I'm not, pick it up. You got nothing to lose. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just kind of meh. Let's get into some of the nitty grittier things that I am sitting here like, what the fuck? Okay. So the world, we'll just start with the world because it's like at the forefront of my brain. Again, I don't have a very good grasp on the world and some of the stuff that was going on. Like when I'm reading, a lot of the stuff that I pick up, I pick up vibes. I don't really pick up the world building unless it's like fucking Sarah J. Maas info dumping in the first like half of Crescent City. Okay. But here's the thing. The world doesn't make a lick of sense. It doesn't make a lick of sense. And the reasons for why this school, these people, these things are happening and things exist, they don't make a lick of fucking sense. The whole idea that there is a war going on and that there was once a rebellion, like several years ago. What ended up happening was in this rebellion that the rebels were killed by these dragons, like by the, you know, the government's dragons or whatever. And then they took those rebels' children, marked them, so they make them marked ones. They have like a marked sigil on them to mark them as like bad people. Because, you know, that doesn't happen in real life. Basically, they forced them to go into this school and they forced them to be writers. And if they don't, then they also like get killed, I guess. And it's kind of weird because it's like, they're basically taking the youth of the rebels to form them to be like loyal to Navarre. And it's like, wouldn't you think, because some of these kids were like old enough to understand what happened and watch their children die, or their parents die, and they are now forced to be a part of this school. They're not allowed to assemble in 3 or more, because that's like treason. And it's literally, there's actually a reason for that, which you find out later. But do you really think that like none of them are plotting against the country? Do you really think that none of them are bitter? You are giving these kids war strategy. You're giving them ranks. Like Xaden is a wing leader, which is like the highest thing I guess you can be in the school, and then he could like move up to lieutenant colonel. Like he could be big in the actual army. You're letting them have positions of power in your army? For what? For why and for what? That is the dumbest thing. If you're going to kill and squash a rebellion and you're going to kill the parents of this and then take their children, you don't give them positions of power. You make them slaves. You make them workers. You make them not be able to get out from the dirt. Like that's just like what you're shooting yourself in the foot, because like if you make them not able to rise up, then they're never going to be able to rise up, because history has shown that to us IRL. It just didn't make any sense. Like you are giving them positions of power to rebel. Because in your head, you think they're supposed to be thankful for you not killing them? The indoctrination, I just don't understand, because clearly it didn't work. So the dragons have abilities, right? They have their own abilities, and they want to protect the Veil, the hatching grounds of all dragons. They want to protect this from the griffins, okay? And so why do they need the humans? Apparently when they bond with a human, the human then forms a signet, which the signet isn't from the dragon. It's from the core of the rider. Like the rider makes their own, whatever power manifests is the rider's own like inner ability, inner like goodness level, inner, just whatever's at their core, whatever's at the heart of their soul and spirit. That's what their power is. So they get that from the dragon. But why do the dragons need that to protect the Veil? Like, is it supposed to be like to have the wards? I guess the dragons can't make wards, but I thought it said the dragons could make wards. I don't know. There was just some things about it that I'm like, I don't understand this. Not to mention, back to the whole school thing. I've said this before, but the whole thing of like the cadets able to kill each other, why would you allow them to kill each other? There are only a certain number of dragons that can bond each year. Fine. But you explicitly say that people that are not bonded the first year just go through the first year again to bond. So why is it that you would let the cadets kill each other when you could have more fighters for the army? Are there not enough dragons in the world? Because here's the thing, there was like 101 dragons, if you count Andarna, at the presentation and at the threshing that were willing to bond. Willing to bond. That's the key here. Willing to bond. Not that they would bond. Willing. So my thing is, what if one of the cadets that you let another cadet kill could have bonded? Because they keep complaining that there's not enough, like there's less and less dragons like willing to bond and less cadets making it out. Why wouldn't you allow all of them to get to the finish line and let all of them bond, have their dragons for the next, like, I don't know, 50, 60 years. And then like more dragons can come in. Like how, like, do dragons take that long to reproduce? Do they take that long to grow up? Like, explain this to me. Because that's the thing. If you kill a cadet who possibly has a chance of bonding at the threshing, why would you let them kill each other? I don't understand. So that was a thing that just didn't make any sense. So then we'll just move on a little bit to the characters here. So then you've got Violet, right? You got Violet. Talked about her, disabled, wanted to be a scribe, no big deal. Xaden, he's a rebel kid. He's a wing leader. He's 2 years above her, yada yada, bad traitor guy, okay? I think I said this before, but there are certain moments where Dane and Xaden both have Violet's best interest at heart, and they both have really sound advice for her, and they really do care about her. But then there are moments where both of them can just fuck the fuck off. There is a moment, this is sticking out in my mind the most because it really actually, like, I was like grinding my teeth because I was like, There is a moment where Violet, because for the whole book, she has made it perfectly clear that she is not going to be a murderer. She's not going to be a killer. She's not going to actually harm anyone lethally. She's just going to non-lethally take them out by poisoning them, knocking them out, whatever. There's a point in this book where she kills someone. She gets her power and she kills someone. And she deals with that, sort of, in a way that anyone who kills someone for the first time deals with that. She freaks the fuck out. right? You just took a life. You took a human life. I don't care what anybody says, but that changes you, okay? That fucking changes you. Taking a life, you took, like, that person was born into this world, lived a whole ass life, and you just snuffed it out. So she is dealing with that. And Dane comes up to her and he is like, you know, what's going on? And she is like, I killed him. Like, I killed that person. And he's like, I know, like, listen, you don't ever have to use your power again. You know, you don't have to do this. Like, you don't have to be a killer. Because this whole time, like, Violet has been afraid of being a writer changing her. And Dane is like, you don't have to do this, Violet. Like, no one is making you do that, whatever. And Xaden, because this is a very fair statement, Xaden comes up and is like, don't tell her that shit. This is absolutely okay. And he goes to Violet and he is like, no, you need to kill people. Like, this is the way of the world. You need to kill people. You need to, like, use that. Like, you're a weapon. You know, this is great. This is like, he's like, you can hate it all you want, but this is the way things are.
We have a problem. We have a problem. Ladies and gentlemen, we have problems.
I take issue with that. I take issue with that. Listen, I am very empathetic. I do not like war and battle, like IRL. I don't like weaponry. I don't like any of that shit, okay? I take issue with telling somebody who has never taken a life, who was pretty, like, not weak, but who was pretty, like, pacifist on principle, wanted to be a scribe. I take issue with your first words being like, yeah, Violet, this is a good thing. You're a murderer now. Like, you killed somebody and you're going to kill more people. Like, you're going to use this. This is going to happen. No. The whole premise of this book is that Violet was made to be a writer because her mom did not want her to be a scribe. Violet is 20 years old and at any fucking point could have said, I do not want to be a writer. I'm going to be a scribe and you cannot make me do otherwise. Because I don't understand this whole, like, she had to be a writer. This girl is 20 fucking years old. What are you talking about? It's still really unclear why she is continuing to do this. She feels like this is what she was meant to do. And she's scared of being a killer. But my thing is, why does she need to be a killer? Why does she need to use this power? Why does she have to be a writer? Because now she's bonded to a dragon? Honestly, she could be a teacher. She could be a teacher and never have to kill anyone. She could probably still be a scribe in some way, shape, or fucking form, I'm sure, or something. She could be something else. She doesn't have to go to the front lines and kill people. There are probably many other jobs she could do with her dragon. Okay, but because she's bonded to Tarn, I guess he's not gonna allow her to do that, especially because he's bonded to Scale and who is bonded to fucking Xaden, who's gonna be on the front lines and they can't be apart. But then on the flip side of that, you have Dane, who the whole fucking book is like talking Violet down and basically literally is like, Violet, you're gonna die. You're just gonna fucking die because you're too fucking weak and I need to protect you and I don't know if I can protect you and I don't want you out on the front lines and da-da-da-da. And she's just like, bro, can you, like, let me just eat my breakfast? Like, can you let me just live my life? Because you can't stop me. This is my choice. Because he's basically trying to take her choice from her, which is the whole point of, like, her choice was taken from her to begin with. Now she's here. And, like, if people would stop telling her what she feels and what she could do, that would be great. Yeah. So that's kind of where, like, Xaden for me and Violet's chemistry, I was like, Violet, not liking this, but I also did not like her with Dane. But anyway, Violet was fine. Once I got past her annoying, like, childlike behavior, she did really grow up and she did really mature. And with the trauma and everything she was going through in the training, she did really, like, you know, measure up. So that was good. She was annoying for almost half the book, but we got through it. Let us talk about the ending. This is where I started getting Crowns of Nyaxia vibes, because literally, if you've read the Crowns of Nyaxia series, especially like the first book and the end of it with Rain and Araya and what Rain does, I was literally like, damn, like, Rain, is that you? Like, what? This ending was wild. And I was like flipping pages so fast because I don't do angst very well. This is what I hate. I hate books with cliffhangers that leave the romance itself on a cliffhanger. I fucking hate that shit. I hate when a book ends on a betrayal. It drives me fucking up the wall. Like, it could be a betrayal of like your mom, your sister, your dad, your brother, your uncle, your cousin. I don't give a fuck. When it ends on a betrayal of a love connection, I'm upset. Now, could I walk my happy ass upstairs and just grab Iron Flame? Oh, absolutely. But here's the thing. You know that that's not where it's going to end. You know it's not just going to stop there. You see, you know, because this woman is writing like 5 books. Like, is Xaden even going to be her end game? Do you see what I'm saying here? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I could walk my happy ass upstairs and pick up Iron Flame. But I'm not going to, because what would be the point? Because I have a feeling this betrayal is going to be drug the fuck out. I also hated the ending because one of my favorite side characters in this book dies. And I'm not going to tell you who it is, but I'm just going to say that how fucking dare you, Rebecca Yarros? How fucking dare you take my sweet, sweet child away from me? But now that I'm at the end, I now see where part of this is going. And I don't know if I like it. The end definitely, baby, threw me for a loop, especially that last page. That last damn page. It's like fucking House of Sky and Breath all over again. It's like, oh, okay. So, yeah, if you go into this book, go into it with low expectations, because if you go into it with high expectations, you are going to be sorely disappointed. I went into it with no expectations. Actually, I went into it with low expectations. My expectations were in hell. They were in hell, and they're a little, they're not bad. As far as what I'm gonna rate this book, I have no fucking idea. I am very nervous to pick up Iron Flame, because I will be picking up Iron Flame, but I almost don't want to pick up Iron Flame until we have a release date set for the 3rd book, because if Iron Flame ends on the cliffhanger that I feel like it's going to end on, and that I've heard it ends on, the world will burn, friends. The world will burn. I haven't heard much about Iron Flame except that it's not good. Like, all the people that were hooting and hollering about this book, they're not hooting and hollering about Iron Flame. They're mad about it. They're burning down the world. Anyway, I have rambled for half an hour now, and I don't know if I can ramble anymore. I just want y'all to remember that I did this for you. And my husband, once again, forfeited many nights of sexual pleasure, so I would read this book for you all. Because he likes to see me suffer. He likes to see me suffer. My husband is a sadist and likes to see me suffer. Oh my God, this book has fried my brain that I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. Anyway, I'm going to go collect my thoughts and text my husband, how dare he do this to me while he's at work, because I need him here so I can talk shop about this book, and I do not have him. So I'm gonna go. I will see you guys later when my brain has been scooped up off the floor. Okay? Bye. Hi, hello, my darling little babies. How are you? Today we are joined by Tallulah Jean, and Tallulah Jean definitely will not say hi to anyone because she's a little bitch. But hi, hello. You are here. You're seeing a lot of this face lately. I filmed a lot of videos today. I am so productive. You are here because I am editing my Fourth Wing vlog that was filmed a year ago. Literally almost a year ago. It was filmed in March of last year. Because I just finished Onyx Storm last night. So I am going through and editing that vlog, and then Onyx Storm will be up. So look forward to that. But the reason I am here is because I was going back, roll back the clip, George, but I was reviewing the footage and I'm editing that video, and I realized at the end, I was like, girl, you're boring me. Like, why are you so goddamn boring? Why are you not being entertaining? Why are you being disgusting right now? Which happens a lot. And when I find that I'm being boring, I feel the need to pop on here and talk to y'all. Do I remember what happened in this book? No. I did just read a recap for Iron Flame before I went into Onyx Storm, but do I remember what happened in this book? Absolutely the fuck not. I will say that I ended up giving this book, I think, 3.5 stars. I did enjoy it, and like I said in the clip I was just editing, which I'm sure you'll see part of it, but I did not hate this book, and I did not love this book. I am like the 0.1% of people in the universe that thinks that this is fine, it's mediocre, and we're all going to move on with our lives. Yes, I started tabbing, and then somewhere my will to live fell away. What I will say about the book, my end thoughts, is that the pacing of the book was very bizarre, kind of the same with Onyx Storm, actually. And the love romance dynamic between Dane and Xaden and Violet was just very weird. Now, something that I didn't know back then, but I do now, is the ending of Iron Flame, but I did talk about that as far as how I felt the series was going to go. And honestly, if I still hadn't read Iron Flame, I would still say the same, is that I felt like the Iron Flame wasn't going to be as good and that the ending was going to be pretty tragic, and I was correct, which is predictable, but it's something where in my Onyx Storm blog I also talk about this, but I really feel like that these books are suffering from this thing of like, we rushed Xaden and Violet's romance way too early. I really don't feel like that they needed to have a romance in this first book. I think that they should have still been learning to respect one another, since it's supposed to be enemies to lovers, and that they should have been more focused on respecting one another, learning one another, and figuring things out, especially since they're bonded to each other and to their dragons. I still stand by the fact that the writing was very poor, and that it definitely felt like this book was supposed to be a YA novel, which I did go back and fact check myself, and I guess, I don't know where I've heard that it was supposed to be a YA novel, but I guess it wasn't. It was supposed to be an adult novel, and then Red Tower just made up this genre and put it into new adult, which I guess is fine, but it reads like YA. And I will argue that they read like they're YA throughout the series at this point. Violet reads like she's 16 years old. Xaden reads like he's about in his 20s, which I feel like he's the more mature of the characters in this book. But the rest of them act like they're kids. And this is a war college. And what's very frustrating and interesting is that this is a war college where they are going to war, but they're also, it's kind of like she tried to mix in Hogwarts with like a real military academy, and it just fell short. Like, it did not mesh well, because you have to have the balls to make it a war college then. It can't just be all fluffy duffy Hogwarts, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are cadets dying left and right, and that is something else I still didn't understand, is how the cadets are allowed to kill each other. You know, they talk about how there's not enough dragons bonding. There's only 101 dragons at the threshing in this book, which includes Andarna. And they talk about how there's not enough dragons bonding with riders. Well, maybe if the riders weren't dying left and right and the cadets weren't fucking slitting their throats every 5 seconds, maybe you would have enough for the dragons. I don't know. I talked about the ending in my last clip, and I was trying not to give spoilers, I think, in my vlog, but I don't actually remember the ending. I remember one part of the ending, but I don't remember the Xaden aspect where I'm talking about that he betrayed Violet. So I don't know what he did. Oh, maybe, yes, I do. Yes, I do. He was keeping from her that he's basically like this general of the Marked One's army, basically, and has been working with her brother. I just feel like that this series, its plot journey as a whole is so misguided. I said this in my Onyx Storm video, but it just feels like that someone went to IKEA and brought home the furniture, looked at the instructions, and just went, meh, and said, I'm not going to put it together that way. And unfortunately, if you've ever put IKEA furniture together, it's very fucking difficult without the instructions. So like, girl, why did you throw the instruction manual away? What the hell? So anyway, all in all, I rated this, I think 3 stars. Probably upon a reread, I would give it less than, so probably like 2.5, considering I've now read through the series and it just doesn't make any fucking sense. So that is all I really came here to say, is just that those are my final thoughts. And yeah. Thank you for watching this far. Thank you for making it through this vlog. I'm very proud of it and very excited for it. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos from me, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'll be here all week, baby. Mwah. Love you. Bye.